Thank you, Richard, for taking the time to talk to me. And everyone, I'd like you to introduce you to Richard Buttrey from ARM. So, Richard, tell us a little bit more about yourself and the work that you're doing.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. So I've got a very strange, I think eclectic might be a diplomatic way of describing my sort of career history. So I originally was an undergraduate in physics, but then took an odd turn and joined the Foreign Office. So I worked in various places around the world in India on kind of science diplomacy, and then later in Japan on export promotion type work. And then from there, I ended up joining GDS, who were the people who built gov.uk. Went into leadership development and somehow I've entered ARM now. So there's no real explanation to that other than to say that there's some sort of lateral connections that I kind of use. But so in ARM, I'm working as Director of Academic Engagement. So that's kind of got two pillars to it. One is around educational material that we provide for teaching academics. And the other is around IP tools and other resources that we provide to researchers.
So, with that kind of dual pillar role, what do you think are some of the new exciting models of digital education futures?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we're really in this sort of experimental period, and as people are saying about the future of work, I think we're only just sort of in the foothills of trying to understand what might change. Um, so, I think we don't claim any kind of special insight to know the answer to that question, except to say that clearly, people are using sort of scaled online platforms in a much more profound way than was the case before. And, we've also, trying to make a contribution there. So we've built a product on edX that students can either use with their tutors or independently or a mixture thereof. So I think we're going to see a more kind of modular approach to education. Clearly lots of people like Google are looking at sort of breaking things down. I feel like if you're interested in technology and engineering, I mean, it's an incredible time to be alive. I mean, you can learn almost anything, and that's really, really exciting. I'm not sure I answered your question, except to say that we're not, no one knows.
No, but that's so true, though. No one does know. And I suppose COVID has expedited some of these developmental changes, which is obviously both a blessing and an inhibitor in some senses, or a challenge.
Yeah.
So, so other than COVID or including COVID, what do you think are some of the challenges that we're facing in this arena?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, clearly everybody's focused on the kind of inequality question and whether, the new educational opportunities are really only open to a different set of people than the kind of analog variants previously. And clearly we've given that a great deal of thought. So ARM is really passionate about kind of inclusivity agenda. So trying to, figure out how we can offer things that are really, useful to everybody around the world. So I think that's clearly a question for everybody to get under the skin of. I think.
Yeah, so how do you think DEFI could help take this forward?
Yeah, I mean, I really think what we lack is a sort of proper evidence base for understanding how things should evolve in the future. A lot of people have got opinions, and there's certainly a lot of kind of breathless commentary about how, as always people say, it's always disruption, everything's disrupted. But there'll be many kind of evolutionary elements to education as well. And I think what we need is sort of, smart people such as yourself to really look at this in a proper evidence-based fashion and help us and guide us and guide everybody to figure out what could and should be done. I think we've got a role in a number of different ways. I mean, there's the literal stuff of what kind of material do we create and how do we interface with academics and students. But then also we're an employer and a corporate citizen, and we need to think about the skills and knowledge and attitudes that we want from young people as they come into our business. And I've had the privilege throughout my career of working with a lot of young people. I started an internship program when I was at the embassy in Tokyo, and they were overwhelmingly the most brilliant sort of digital natives who really helped us kind of turn around a lot of old-fashioned processes that we had there. And clearly in ARM, we are resolutely in the business of trying to find young people. And I think we shouldn't be applying artificial constraints in terms of their kind of educational and qualification criteria. So yeah, we've got a role to play in a number of ways, I think.
Thank you.